Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday's wisdom sharing session. The topic of today's session is why can the supreme knowledge not be taught? This is a continuation of Akshi Upanishad, Vedanta 7 Steps to Samadhi by Osho. The sage Sankriti asks the sun god, "O Lord, please teach me the supreme knowledge." The Upanishads know only the supreme knowledge. What is this supreme knowledge and why is it called supreme? The Upanishads call that knowledge supreme, which is not gathered from without, which is actually not gathered at all. You cannot be educated in it. It cannot be taught. It happens within. It flowers in you. The first distinction to be made is that there is knowledge which can be taught. The Upanishads call that knowledge lower knowledge. Precisely, they actually call it avidya, ignorance with information. Because that which can be taught to you remains in the mind. It never reaches exactly to you. You remain untouched. Your center remains untouched. Your being is not in any way changed or transformed. Only the mind collects, only the brain cells collect it. So it is the same as when we feed a computer. In the same way, your mind is fed. From the very childhood, you have been taught many things. They have not reached you, and they will never reach you. The mind gathers them, the mind becomes filled with them, and the mind is so complex that in a single mind, all the libraries of the world can be fed. A single head can contain all the knowledge that exists in the world. But the Upanishads say you will not become knowing through that. It is mechanical. Consciousness is not needed for it. If even a computer can do it, then it is not worth it. What the computer cannot do is supreme knowledge. The computer cannot become self-knowing. There is no possibility for the computer to become self-conscious. That which has not been fed into the computer cannot happen to it. And if the same is the case with man, then there is no soul. Then you are also a natural biocomputer. If everything that comes out of you has been fed into you, if exactly the same amount comes out that has been fed in, if nothing new happens within, then you have no soul. You are a very complex mechanism, that's all. The whole religion depends on the phenomenon of supreme knowledge. Is it possible that something can happen within, absolutely new, which has never been taught to you, which has not been cultivated in you? If something so original happens to you, only that can prove that you have a soul. Otherwise, you are simply a brain, a complex mechanism, but still a mechanism. And there is no possibility of any transformation. The Upanishads call that knowledge supreme, which happens within. That is why religion cannot actually be taught. You can teach science, you can teach many other things, but you cannot teach religion. And if you teach religion, religion becomes false. That's what missionaries of all the religions have done to this earth. They've been teaching religion on just the same lines as science is taught. So they fill our mind with certain knowledge. we start repeating that knowledge. You may even start living that knowledge, but you will remain a computer, a robot. The Upanishads say there is a possibility and there is a way to attain the supreme knowledge. So what will the master do if it cannot be taught? That's why a master is not a teacher. The master is not going to teach you. He is going to create a situation around you. Only the situation. He will create devices around you. He will create only the soil. The seed, you already have got it within you. The situation can be provided, and the seed will start sprouting. The dead seed will become alive. The seed will die, but a plant will come in its place. And this seed, this seedling, this growing plant will become a tree. But this is something which happens within you. You can be helped, but you cannot be taught. A master can create a situation around you, just a situation. And whatsoever he teaches is not knowledge. He teaches only how to create the situation. He teaches you methods. He cannot give you the conclusion. He can help only indirectly. That is why it is such a delicate phenomenon. Only one who has got it within him, one who has passed through all the stages, one who has become the big tree, flowering, only he can create the situation around you. So a person who has not become enlightened himself cannot really help you. On the contrary, he may actually hinder you. If it was just a teaching, then even scriptures would be helpful. The Bible would do, the Quran, the Vedas, the Upanishads would do. But you can read the Bible, you can memorize it, you can become an expert, you can become a scholar, but you will not necessarily become a religious man. Just by memorizing the Bible, Christ is not going to happen to you. The Christ can happen to you only when the situation is created around you and your inner seed grows. Religion is not a teaching, it is a growth. Then what is supreme knowledge? When you grow, when you know, when for the first time you have your own eyes to see into reality. So the first thing, supreme knowledge is that knowledge which happens to you but cannot be taught. The second thing, all knowledge is about something other than you. Supreme knowledge is absolutely about you. It may even be wrong to say it is about you. It is not about, because whatsoever it is about something other than you. Therefore, it will be better to say it is you, not about you. Because many things can be taught about you. It can be asked, who are you? Someone can say, you are Brahman, you are the divine, you are the absolute, you are the soul, you are the Atman. But this is about you. This is not supreme knowledge. Somebody else is teaching it to you. When you become knowledge, when you become the knowing center, when your very consciousness becomes the door, then supreme knowledge has happened to you. Mathematics is about something. Physics is about something else. Chemistry is about something else. Psychology is about the mind. Supreme knowledge is you. No university, no school is of any help. Directly, nothing can be done about it. Only an indirect help is possible. Therefore, meditation is the key. And Patriji has created this environment for us. And by meditating, we will attain supreme knowledge. Thank you, everyone. If anyone has got anything to share, feel free to unmute yourself and please share.
Thank you very much, Dinesh ji, for this, this knowledge, this sharing of these thoughts that the master can just create the surrounding. But what is meant? What about all these books that we are reading? So, what is actually the divine teaching? Actually, we are reading a lot, and this all is quite, supreme knowledge, as I would say.
It is, but it is better than doing other worldly things, because this is then sort of moving us in the right direction. But because the self is beyond thought and speech, therefore it can only be experienced, and the tool or the method is meditation. But we should continue, obviously, listening to wisdom. We should continue reading books, so that in that process our mind becomes pure. And when the mind becomes pure, reality is here and now, and we are that real, like the Upanishads have said, we are that real ultimate being. But that obviously will just be experienced when the mind is pure, and that purity comes from meditation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nilimaji?
Yes, Dinesh, I think wonderful explanation also about the books here that you have mentioned. It's a very beautiful question, Sri Kalaji, and thank you for the great answer as well. And thanks a lot for today's session, Dinesh. Like always, Osho's understanding is always a bliss to understand. I was recollecting this thing from couple of days ago, which I have seen this video. So someone will ask, are there any questions that exist? And Osho will say that there is no question, that the questions does not exist, because answers are always within. And then they ask, like, how does everyone know the meaning of hatred? Because, and then Osho says, love is being taught. Hatred is not being taught by anyone. And that is why the entire world knows more about the hatred. So I just recollect, and today's wisdom is also the same that you have mentioned, that if we connect to the supreme consciousness, everything just is there in front of us, is there within us. The entire world lies within us. And the way that you have mentioned, it's always like, again, I was also recollecting the same related to the Osho's wisdom that I have said about the love and hatred. Even from the childhood, we have not been taught all these things, right? Like, because as you mentioned in today's session, it cannot be explained. So whatever cannot be explained, it's very difficult. And then we were unable to teach this wisdom. So this is one knowledge. This is the thing that we all have to understand. And when you are saying about the master, again, I'm recollecting Sri Krishna, that in the Kurukshetra war, he never took a weapon by himself. He was only telling like what they have to do. So that is the real master. And for me, since childhood, I always have an understanding that if someone shows me pity, or if someone shows me, or say like maybe there is, the nice words, I will always put them away and say like, hey, be strong. Like, I want something like, if you're harsh on me, then that's the moment where I keep learning. So having this thing, I truly resonate also to your words. That's why when a guru speaks harshly, it's for our sake that we have to progress, that to the higher things. So a guru, don't expect like everyone to be like so calmly saying that. The gurus always put a lot testing on our ego of how we are reacting. and they create the situation. So here I also understand that we come to this world with so many different, to have many experiences. And somewhere with all the worldly thinking, we'll be thinking like, we have been kept in a situation where we don't know, oh my God, I'm going through so much of pain. But what is exactly happening is we are transforming, because since the situation is unknown, we have been kept in a way that we have to research, we have to know how to get out of it. And that is the reason why we are the ones who choose the experiences. So every pain is actually a transformation when someone starts to think how to come out of it, how we can be able to transform. And the pain is no longer the pain, because it's also someone again who said, like, if a person goes to a gym, what happens is in the beginning of his days, there will be lots of pain. There will be muscle pain. There will be, he cannot move his legs or arms. And after some time, it becomes like a pleasure, right? Like they can't survive without doing exercises. However, they will never say how much of pain they went through. They will always mention how much of pleasure, because when they experience that thing. Similarly, also in meditation, we always have to think, if we have the pain and if we experience the pleasure, we will have to forget. If it is still there inside us, then it is still a pain, which means we still have to work on it. This is truly a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm super glad for all of us that, in this platform, we keep on learning, we keep hearing from different perspectives. And thanks to all these beautiful, beautiful masters who are, whose wisdom is straightforward to us. Thanks a lot, Dinesh.
Very true, very true. Swarna.
Thank you, Dinesh. Beautiful wisdom sharing and beautiful meditation music. So yeah, thank you very much. Whatever you said, everything is, I can resonate, and we all are in the spiritual path, and we can, experience these things, right? So the master is going to, disturb your ego. Then only the soul is going to be seen, just with the soft voice or with the soft teachings and all. It's just, in another way of chanting mantras and things like that. So when difficult situation arises, the experiences come in their life, then only the real self or real truth is going to be known. So you have beautifully said, and always Patri sir says, all your answers are within you. So sit in the meditation and you will know. And exactly, Osho also says, there's no question exists. When you sit and meditate, you know all the answers. And even I also experienced, when I have some difficulties, some blockages or some questions hindering in me, I would ask here, I will look for that. Nothing will satisfy. It's just like, again, a question for me, until I just realize the situation comes, and I just keep thinking, analyzing and contemplating, then the real solution comes. So thank you so much. Yeah, all these gurus can just teach you and give you the circumstances so that you can know your own true self. Even Sai Baba also gives, if any devotee asks any question, never gives any straightforward answer, because answer is going to be again answer. He will create a situation. Go there, go here, talk to them and see that situation. Go and be there with them. That circumstance or situation teaches him a lot, and he comes with his lessons. So thank you so much, Dinesh, again. Beautiful wisdom as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining this evening's meditation and wisdom sharing session. I think we'll do the intros in perhaps next Wednesday or so. So once again, thank you, everyone, and namaste.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for joining, and let us all connect for tomorrow's morning session. Thank you all. Have a nice time.
Thank you.
Yeah.